How much weight do we give this housing starts number?
This was a very strong number. The percentage month-on-month change was pretty eye-popping, 20.2%.
Biggest since 91.
Biggest since 91. That's a great number, but really the way to look at this is converging towards trend. Housing permits, which are the leading indicator.
Yeah.
It's easier to file for those. What you're seeing is starts converge back towards that. They're up just 10%. But that's still a very healthy number. Also very important, this is converging not only with permits, but with home builder sentiment. Home builder sentiment this year in the first quarter remained resilient versus in the first quarter of 2014, it really dropped off. And that ended up being a very good indicator of how weak housing would be in 2014. So I think this really supports the case for a strong year at last in 2015 for housing.
It's incredible that we had such a good number because all of the recent U.S. economic data points have come in soft. I'm thinking of industrial production, of retail sales, of GDP. Do you think that housing is now strong enough to sort of compensate for the strength of the dollar and the slack of business investment?
I don't think it can outweigh all those other headwinds, but it's important to recognize that this is a tailwind that's probably got some pretty strong, lifespan to it, because this is a long-term trend we've seen in the U.S. This is a rebalancing in the U.S. economy because we overinvested in housing before. Now that we're finally seeing that turn around, that means that as long as the long end of the yield curve doesn't spike upwards with some other kind of taper tantrum, we should get a continued tailwind from housing for some years to come. It's not going to be gangbusters like it used to be, but it should be a little bit more of a steady breeze for us.
Josh, how close of a correlation is there between permits and starts?
Very close. Permits are a leading indicator.
Right. So we should see. So a 10% increase in permits gives us housing starts, strong housing starts. How many months down the road?
That should be 2 to 3 months out. We're still going to see further increases in housing starts.
So what about the correlation with new home sales? New home sales don't seem to be doing anywhere nearly as well as buildings.
Well,
suggesting that this is speculative building?
Remains to be seen. We would have said the exact same thing about housing starts just yesterday. The question was, where were starts? February, January, and then even March.
And here they are.
And here they are. And they're strong. And then we found this big rebound. I think certainly this raises expectations for us to see some strong results next week when the new home sales numbers come out. But we have to wait and see what actually happens.
We have seen so many more. So the percentage of housing ownership has dropped, right? Home ownership is low, lowest in decades. And at the same time, you've seen so many more Americans go into rental units.
Yeah.
Does America need? This is 1 million new homes a year. That's the pace we're on. Does America need 1 million new homes?
I think the reality is that there's been a shortage of inventory, and that's been one of the factors cited as depressing new home sales for a couple of years now. So I think we do need more inventory.
And inflating prices. You know where we need more inventory? In Chelsea.
Not going to happen.
Well, look, the other thing is that we've got pent-up household formation, you've got to remember, from younger people who haven't formed households yet. So while we do have these demographic shifts taking place over long term, in the shorter term, we're seeing some people enter, and we've seen some signs of household formation picking up. That should support housing this year as well.